It's the worst of the CBC for February 22nd, 2021, the show where I watch the CBC so you don't have to. Okay, like, the thing is just mind-numbing. It's the same stories over and over, but now we get a new version of, okay, now the government, we can ignore all their incompetence because vaccines are finally coming back to Canada, whoop-de-doo, 600,000, blah, blah, blah. But the new thing is they're pushing the Fauci, like, again, like, why are we doing propaganda for the American regime here in Canada? Well, I know the answer, but I still asking why. And they're pushing the Anthony Fauci thing like, will we be wearing masks into 2022? Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Like, guys, if you want to sell the vaccine, you have to say the vaccine is the way out. You have to say that if you get the vaccine, life goes back to normal. Not get the vaccine. If you don't, you're a bad person. You hate science. And if you do get the vaccine, you're still never allowed to see your grandmother. Your grandmother still has to die alone. Even if she's vaccinated and you're vaccinated, she has to die alone because science. Because Anthony Fauci says so. And Dr. Theresa Tam says this is going to be the worst. Like, the modeling, right? You see the new model. It's just like, well, in the next week, it's just going to go poof. It's going to be 1 billion people, 1 billion Canadians are going to have COVID next week because of Dr. Theresa Tam's model that's not based on any science, has no numbers to actually back it up, but she just wrote a graph. Here's the graph. And then, yeah, next week it's just kabam. Just breaking the computer screen. And I'm supposed to come and say, well, this is the science. And if I don't agree with the science, then I'm fake news. Come on. And then the most infuriating part, the reason why it's the worst coverage story of the day is because then they're interviewing people or taking people from, they're so lazy, they're taking American interviews and clipping it together, meet the press thing about how we need to investigate Donald Trump for his COVID-19 response. Yes, there needs to be investigations, another investigation, impeach him for a third time for the COVID vaccine, for the COVID response. Even though Joe Biden has done nothing to change the response from the previous administration. Nothing. This is the guy who lied, coming and saying, there was no vaccines when I took office, even though he was vaccinated before he took office. He lied and said there was no vaccines, even though he had one before he came into office. Then there's been no modification to Operation Warp Speed. None. What was this thing? Like, I aim to vaccinate 1 million people per week. There's something Biden said. Well, when he came into office, 1 million people per week were already being vaccinated. Over that. And we're talking about, we must investigate Donald Trump's response. And then at least they kind of engaged with the Dr. Fauci flip-flop. They did the propaganda thing. It's like, yeah, so there's misinformation because people thought masks didn't work when Dr. Fauci said masks didn't work. Now, Fauci admitted, like, I was lying because we wanted to make sure there wasn't a shortage for the PPE, for the medical workers. Again, if we had done what I said from the beginning, which was tell the truth, be honest, tell some hard truths to the public, expect them to take it reasonably and responsibly, and then people would be reasonable and responsible. But no, we cannot have nice things. We just have to lie and lie and lie about COVID, lie and lie and lie, objectively lie, send fake science at people that is so obviously fake, and then berate them for not believing the science if they say, well, where's Dr. Theresa Tam's data? How are 1 billion people going to get COVID? How are 1 billion Canadians going to get COVID? And by the way, it's the UK variant of the coronavirus, and you can't say China virus because that's racist, but you can say UK variant. It's so stupid, China virus. Oh, why can't we call it China virus? You can't call it China virus. How about because the Chinese made it in an actual biolab, and then once it was out in the public, weaponized it for political purposes to shut down the global economy so they could, get themselves out of copyright laws. Biggest omission. The mainstream media is 1 year late to that. If you remember 1 year ago, 1 year and 1 month ago, when I broke the story that the Canadian Flight 752 was shot down intentionally by Iran. Now, my evidence was, and I interviewed a military expert, the way the system was designed, an SA-15 system, the way the targeting works, the way the military works, and the context, and we put it together and said there is a 0.000000000000000000000 10 more minutes of me saying 0.1% chance of this being accidental because of the way this system works. Well, now there's been secret recordings coming out of Javad Zarif, Iran's terrorist propaganda minister, who basically admitted that, yes, everyone in the RGC knows they're responsible, but they never admit it publicly because, they don't ever want to take responsibility because they're friggin' the Islamic Republic of Iran, one of the most evil regimes to ever exist. Now, I had been saving this Iran rant because it was going to be on the Wednesday show. I have a thing on Iran started to kill Americans for Joe Biden. It'll still be on the Wednesday show, bring this up, but this is how long the mainstream media took, to figure it out. This is how long it was intentional. And then even after it comes out, we have secret recordings. Just one article in the National Post CBC can't cover this? The government can't cover this? Garnet Genoe? Garnet Genoe! I care about Iran and China! But when the National Telegraph reported on Chinese infiltration, I called Daniel Borkman and tried to get my name off the site because I was so mad at it. Yeah, sure, Garnet. Sure, Garnet. Yeah, have your secretary call me again to try and, intimidate me, to not have you associated with a place that goes after China. Yeah, Garnet Genoe's going to save us from China and Iran. Friggin' idiots. Goddamn O'Toole idiots. I'm so angry. But I'm also happy because there's an Ayaan Hirsi Ali interview with Jordan Peterson that I want to watch. I love Ayaan Hirsi Ali. She's great. So what does this get on the Rosemary Barton scale? Who cares? Who even cares at this point? 8, 9, 10, 11? I don't. It's just science. You know what? The science says it's an exponential graph. 2,300 to the 97th of the Rosemary Barton scale. Science. Who cares? So much sciencey. Oh my God. End it now. Just end it now. End it now. Just can we just I wouldn't even say nuke the CBC. Just nuke me so I never have to watch it again. I'm ordering a nuclear strike on myself to never watch the CBC again. It's been fun knowing you.